Good morning, it's Tracy Bild. I am continuing my podcast from my deck outside, trying to get back into the mode of doing these podcasts because I have been out of the loop for about a month. And again, I apologize. Now it's going to be built back into my schedule now that I'm getting caught up on the many things that were taking me away from my podcast. And you know what? Sometimes we just have to be able to prioritize. And I know that that's frustrating for those of you that watch these, but in my business, one of the greatest things I've learned is you have to be organized. You have to know specifically what your goals are, and you have to be adaptable. And sometimes, even though I want to do this podcast, the goal, for example, of finishing my book and getting it out by April 1st took priority because I needed that energy and that time every spare minute to finish that quite large project. So it's okay. And I just want to say that for some of you who are very goal oriented as I am, that you're always going to get to the goal if you keep focused on it and read it daily. But you need to also keep those priorities and, more importantly, your follow through in place. It does no good to start a project and not finish it. You always want to make sure you follow through on what you've started. And, you know, as I talk about follow through, why don't I just continue on with follow up? I want you to think about all the time and energy that you've invested in those many leads in your database. I know that we're doing a database cleanup right now with a lead base that has about 600 leads. And that to me is a nice database. However, the marketing team previously had not really understood how to maximize that database and to work it. So we said, let us take this database, let us call them, do what we do best. We'll utilize our connection sheets and we'll try to reactivate cold leads into hot leads, warm leads into hot leads, and so on. And it's been a very successful project. Now we do these quite regularly, and this is the norm, which means that people do want to be followed up with. They want you to stay in contact. And I know if you're a sales counselor, it doesn't always feel that way. It feels like you're bothering people. So I want to give you a few strategies and reminders about what the purpose of follow-up is and what it is you're supposed to be doing when making these calls. So, number one, why are we following up with people? Well, I mean, that's a pretty easy question, I know, but we're following up because they came, maybe they visited your community, but they weren't ready to deposit or set a move-in that date. Why? Well, I believe it's because they did not yet see the value in what it was you were offering. So if you are a CCRC and you were trying to get them motivated to move to your beautiful community and they're not giving you the commitment that you want, then what you need to understand, it's not that they're no longer a hot lead. Okay, I want you to get this. It's not that they're no longer a hot lead. What it means is they're still a hot lead, but they just don't see the value in making a final decision with you, meaning they're going to go out and they're going to shop your competitors. They're going to look at other options. It may be downsizing their home, staying put, and just putting this decision off until a later date. Your job as a sales professional, and that is what you are, and be proud of it, is to be able to start utilizing the power of open-ended questions to better understand what it is they're looking for, what's important to them, so that you can get them excited to buy. Think about people that perhaps you were trying to close yesterday, whether it was an on-site visit and your follow-up calls with leads that you're working. What was the conversation like? How much listening did you do compared to talking? Did you ask lots of open-ended questions or try to sell them? The key here is to be childlike, curious, interested in them and what's going on in their mind, because people will tell you how to sell them. One of the challenges, though, is that sales counselors get really anxious and they want the sale to happen fast. And what you really want to do is have a large number of leads that you're working on a regular basis. And with all of those leads, you're following up. Sometimes you're getting voicemail. Sometimes you're talking to people. Sometimes you're doing a home visit or they're coming back in for an on-site visit. And what you want to remember is that if you're working a large number of leads and you're following up daily in that 1 hour call block, I always encourage you to do every single day. If you're hitting the phones for an hour minimum, getting to 75 to 100 outbound calls a week, and you're using the open-ended questions on your connection sheets to understand, and then you're doing the close we've taught you with recapping the needs so you're on the same page, and then utilizing the optional close, which is a choice of two things that they could come and do to experience your community. You're going to have regular, consistent sales. Many of you don't have consistent sales because the follow-up is not happening consistently. You're getting to it when you have time, which if you think about it, it's rare that you actually have time. So instead of doing follow-up calls daily, you're probably getting to them once a week, maybe twice or maybe 3 calls a day. That's not enough to fill a building. You need to block out that 1 hour every day at a time that you've identified to be a prime calling time when people are home and that you can stick to. And then you need to commit to that schedule and then use things like your inquiry connection sheet, your follow-up to a visit connection sheet number, the first one and the second one. You also have your old lead or established relationship connection sheet, and then you have your strategic close worksheet. So we've given you the tools that you need to close the leads. What you have to do is utilize them and follow up, follow up, follow up. That needs to become a top priority for you as a sales counselor. And if you don't have the time, you need to sit down with your executive director and talk to them about making sure you're not pulled aside into other activities like manning the front desk, handling move-in things that you shouldn't be doing that resident services should be handling. You need to focus on income producing activities so that you can produce. Go make it a great day. Focus, focus, focus. Thank you.